This is Dietitian Cynthia Sass, who's here to tell us that we literally are what we eat.
Absolutely. A skin cell only lives about 30 days and then it sloughs off, so you have to make new cells constantly, and what those cells are made out of is what you've been eating.
Oh, so tell us what is on your plate.
Okay, so here I have some sun-dried tomato pesto with some raw veggies. So pesto you can use as a spread for sandwiches on whole grain bread, of course. You can use it as a dip for raw vegetables. The reason that this is so great, what I'm really here to talk about today, is foods that give you beautiful skin. And some interesting research shows that cooked tomatoes and olive oil, which is what's in this sun-dried tomato pesto, have the ability to boost pro-collagen, which is what gives our skin its elasticity and youthfulness. So, great way to incorporate it into your diet right here, and of course it tastes delicious. So, scientists think that lycopene, which is an antioxidant in the tomatoes, is responsible for the pro-collagen boost, and olive oil helps you absorb more of it. So that's why the combination is important.
Now, what about it? Can you have them whole, like maybe the cherry tomatoes drizzled with a little olive oil? Will that serve the same function and purpose?
Well, the study that I was referring to was actually done with more concentrated cooked tomatoes, like tomato paste and things like this. Certainly it would help to have tomatoes in any form, as long as you have olive oil, or even something like avocado. If you had, let's say, salsa with some fresh avocado, or salsa with guacamole, that would be a great combo too.
Is this something that people need to think about doing every day now, or can they feel like, well, I've had this 3 days a week and, I'll get glowing skin?
Well, we should be eating a wide variety of foods for our skin because there's so many different nutrients and antioxidants that affect skin. So, for example, I have some delicious, look at these.
Do you want me to
Brazil
hold
nuts.
this
Yeah.
while you're holding the nuts?
These are Brazil nuts. Now, these are one of the best sources of selenium, which is an antioxidant. And then I have some absolutely gorgeous almonds, which have vitamin E. Now, these two antioxidants go to work in the body to fight free radicals, which are these nasty substances that we build up just through normal metabolism, but we build up even more when we're under stress, which, let's face it, who's not these days, right? And free radicals attack your cells and cause premature aging, including to your skin cells. So by snacking on these or incorporating them into your diet, it's a great way to fight the effects of premature aging, just especially from stress.
Does it help to pop a few of these while you're in a very stressful situation at all?
Sure. Hey, as long as they don't get stuck in your teeth.
All right, now what's the secret? Should we be aiming for a cup a day, or is there an actual number here?
Not really. It's really more about eating more whole foods as close to their natural state as possible. Of course, we want to have more, as I mentioned, whole grains, lots of fruits and veggies, things like plant-based fats like nuts. For example, almond oil is a great thing that you can use in smoothies as well. I have a new book that just came out January 1st, and I have a Brazil nut encrusted chicken recipe in there. And I also use a lot of different natural nut butters and pestos, in the book as well. Because, flavor and aroma is really what gives us satisfaction in our meals. And if we can incorporate more things into our diet that we look forward to eating, we're going to get the side effects of beautiful skin naturally.
So the key is really incorporating all of these in some way, not necessarily in specific quantities.
That's right. On a regular basis. And another thing I talked about today was some really interesting research about green tea. Now, we think of green tea as being a good thing to drink, but you can also put it on your skin, specifically on your scalp, and it's a great way to help control dandruff because we know which this time of year it's so dry out in most of the country. We're having not so great weather. So you steep 2 green tea bags for about 20 minutes, which is much longer than you would if you were going to drink it. Take the bags out, discard those, bring the brewed tea right into the shower with you, pour it on your scalp and massage it in. And this has been shown in research to help reduce the overgrowth of cells that cause dandruff in a dry, itchy scalp, and it helps to exfoliate the skin without drying it out. So it's a good home remedy.
Is this before, after, or in between shampooing and conditioning?
Any of the above, really. Actually, I think it's something that you can experiment with on your own, for example, depending on if you have colored hair or how short or long your hair is. But, give it a try, especially because we're seeing a lot more green tea be incorporated into beauty products, including shampoos, because we're learning about all these natural effects that foods have and the substances in foods that really are so powerful without having to put artificial chemicals into or onto our skin.
And again, if this is something that people try and think, it's worked wonders. Is this something that they should be thinking about a couple of times a week?
I guess it depends on your personal, where you live. And like, for example, here it's very dry and not so nice out. But I was just in Florida and California recently, and it was beautiful and sunny there. So I think it probably depends on, your climate as well.
We have a chat room question, and in between I can take these nuts from you, so in case
Okay.
they fall off,
Yeah.
we won't have an accident.
Thank you.
Rick, what do we have?
Grant asks about pomegranate. Do you recommend the pill form or the fresh form? And if fresh, juice or kernels?
Wow, great question. Okay, so I love pomegranate. I think it is definitely one of the highest antioxidant foods out there on the planet. Anything that has that gorgeous color that pomegranates have is going to have the natural pigment that's responsible for the color that is tied to the antioxidant level. Concord grape juice is another thing. So pomegranate juice, as long as it's 100% juice and it doesn't have sugar added, is a great way to get a higher concentration of those antioxidants in. So when you have fresh pomegranate seeds, which are wonderful, and I'm a big fan of those, I actually have a recipe on my website right now that incorporates pomegranate seeds because they're in season. But when you have juice, you're actually getting more of that per gulp, because it's more concentrated. The key is you don't want to overdo it because, you might not be able to burn all those calories, off, because juice can be a very concentrated source of calories as well as antioxidants. But I think it's a great thing to put into smoothies is to put a little splash of pomegranate juice and you get a nice dose of those antioxidants.
And that could literally just be enough?
Yeah, I would say about 4 ounces, which if you think about the size of a baseball fits very nicely into an 8 ounce or a 1 cup measuring cup. So think half of a baseball if you're trying to visualize something, less than a yogurt container for sure. And that's really all that you need to get that powerful amount of antioxidant.
Yogurt was actually on your list as well.
Yes, and that's a great thing to put into the smoothie as well. Because it has probiotic bacteria, which is the good or friendly bacteria that have been shown to not only boost our immune system and improve our digestive system, but also reduce any kind of irritation or inflammation in the skin. And the good news is for people who avoid dairy products, there's probiotic bacteria in soy yogurt, rice yogurt, coconut yogurt, so you don't have to have dairy specifically to get those benefits.
I actually am lactose intolerant, and my doctor told me that some people can handle certain types of yogurt.
That's true, because when milk is made into yogurt, a lot of the lactose is removed. Now, the probiotic bacteria has also been shown to help digestion, so it can also aid in that lactose intolerance issue. But if you're allergic to dairy or you avoid it because you're, for whatever reason, it's good to know that there's other sources out there that you don't have to miss out on that probiotics.
And there's kombucha too, which has probiotic
Yes, that's
in
right.
it.
And even kefir is another thing, and sauerkraut. So there's different
that's
ways
a new
to
one.
get
I didn't know that one.
Sauerkraut, that's a great idea.
That is a good
I
one.
actually have a jar of sauerkraut in my refrigerator right now. It's a great thing to put on sandwiches.
Yeah.
I see another guest waiting in the wings, so I think we
Yes.
will have to wrap this up.
Okay.
But thank you for bringing everything.
And before we let Cynthia go, what was the website that you mentioned before? Can you repeat that?
Oh, it's cynthiasass.com, and I have the recipe with the pomegranates incorporated into it there.
Great.
Well, make sure you take all of your goodies with you
Okay.
because they'll disappear. I haven't had breakfast yet.
Thank you.
Here you go. Thank you so much for coming by.
Bye-bye.